Well, hello everybody. What I thought I would do is upload a reloaded video. Now, reloaded is our series of early videos that were originally posted when this channel first began. This one was posted February 5th, 2013, so that's how old this video is. Almost 10 years ago, guys. Almost 10 years. Hard to believe we've been on this channel for that long, isn't it? So yeah, all those videos were pulled down, and we pulled them all down, and we saved them and going to re-upload them. So on this one, it's about a TV that powered down. Now, this was back in the early days of our filming, so we didn't have a tripod. We were filming with a $50 camera. That's very evident when you see the video. The quality is not all that great. So if you'll just bear with it, it's very informative. Also, I'm not sure the model of the TV. I couldn't even tell you the brand name, honestly. I'm just not sure the model of the TV because it was so long ago, and you cannot see in the video even the brand name. So, but the principles are basically the same in TVs across models and brands. So it's just that the layout of them sometimes is different. So I hope you enjoy the video. Grab yourself a cup of coffee and relax and enjoy the video. Today at Teslatronixlab, what we're going to look at is this it's a 40-inch flat panel TV. We see that it has standby power, so it's not a dead TV. But let's take a look and see what it does do. What we're going to do is turn the power on and have a look. And that's what it does. It'll come on for a brief second. Sometimes it'll come on and go off. Just that quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at it. We're going to fix that. We do know it's in the power supply. It's a power supply problem. And if you will notice, let's have a look here. Let's try this again, but keep an eye on the indicator light, okay? Okay, now watch. So we see that it is staying, and it'll go back to standby. So it does stay powered on. It's just not getting enough power to keep the TV on. That tells us right there that it's probably not going to be a capacitor problem, because it is keeping the power. It's powered on right now. And so we do know that it is keeping the power. It's just not enough to keep it on. See? And see, it's still powered on. Still powered on. And it'll go back to standby mode right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the power supply, and we're going to fix it. So let's get the TV prepped and get it apart and have a look at it. Okay, so what we are going to do is we got to take all of these screws out here. If you look at the back of the cabinet, you will see the little arrow indicators telling you that there's a screw there that needs to be removed. They're all along the cabinet, and it basically will tell you that you need to remove that screw to remove the cabinet. Now, do not forget about these little guys here, right here above the T-con board. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get started removing the screws, and then we'll be able to access the power supply. Okay, now once you get all the screws removed, the cabinet just will come right off, just like that. Just like that. And if we have a look here, we will see that that's the power supply right there. Okay. Right here's the power supply. So what we got to do is we have a look at these screws right here. There's going to be 4 of them. Okay, we just unscrew those. We just unscrew these 4 screws here, and that will give us access to power supply. Now once the screws are removed, we come over here and we unplug all of the wiring. We'll unplug all the harnesses from the board all the way around. Okay, and it appears that they're all unplugged. Then we just simply lift it up, and now the power supply is free. Okay, so let's take it to the lab and see what we got. Now if we have a look at the board, you can see a black line that comes all the way around like this. It goes underneath these transformers. What that is designating the hot side of the board versus the cold side. And if you look, it even tells you. And if you flip the board over, you'll see the same thing, but it's designated by a line. This tells you the hot side, and it's also marked on the board. Now not all of them are marked like this, but basically whichever side has the large cap on it is going to be the hot side. Now because the TV is going to standby mode and it's getting power, we know we can just eliminate the hot side automatically, because it is working. Otherwise the board wouldn't even enter standby mode. So what we're going to concentrate on is the cold side. Now what we want to do is look at the power up circuit in the cold side, which would be right in here where all the caps are. Now we do know that what's happening is the TV is starting to come on then shutting down, which what we can do is, what we want to concentrate on is this. Let me see, what we want to concentrate on is this little guy right here. Okay, if you can see him real good, right here. Okay, that's a transistor. Now transistors act as amplifiers and as switches. Now because the TV is shutting off, what's happening is this transistor there is failing, and it's the one that's in the startup power up circuit here in the cold side. So that's the guy that we're going to be concentrating on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and switch him out. It is a 29, or it's a 2N4401, which you can put in a 2N3904 if you wish, as we showed you how to identify transistors in a previous video. So we're not going to get into that here. But we're going to go ahead and replace that, because what's happening is that in this circuit, that transistor is acting like a switch, and it powers the TV, that circuit on and off. It powers the circuit here on and off. So what's happening is it's not staying on. When it powers on, it's not staying on to keep the circuit alive, and it's shutting down. So once we replace him and get everything back together, we will probably be good to go. So what we're going to do is flip it over, and we're going to go ahead and get him removed. Okay, we got our desoldering iron here, and we're going to go across the leads of that transistor, and we're going to go ahead and desolder it real quick like. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the transistor, Okay, now we got all the solder removed. You want to use some tweezers. I'm going to reach down there, and you want to use tweezers on this because it's such a tight fitting area. And just like a dentist pulls a tooth, we pull him out. Okay? And if you look at the board down in there, you'll see that the flat part of the transistor, you want to make sure you're facing it the right direction, and it's printed on the board. The EBC is marked emitter base collector. You want to make sure you put it in the right way or it's not going to work. So now what we do is we just want to simply get a new one, and we want to cut the legs down to size, put him in, and then we'll solder him back in. Okay, so we got the new transistor. Okay, and we simply insert it into the board. Okay, now once you get the new one in place, you can see that it is facing the right direction. That's very important. If it's not facing the right direction, then it's not going to work. Now we got him inserted, and right here is where we need to solder him back in. So we go ahead and we solder him back in there. And he's ready to go. We got him all soldered in and ready to go. Right there. Okay. Now what we do is let's take this board back. Let's get the TV back together, see what we got. Okay, now we're back at the TV, and what we want to do is make sure, first of all, the board is positioned correctly. And you can see the pegs here where the board sets. And you just simply want to line those up. Make sure they're all lined up for the screws to go in. And you can see the board is lined up. Now we got to do, next step is simply just to screw the board back down, and then what we'll do after that is hook up all the wiring harnesses, and we'll see what we got. You want to keep in mind that while you're putting these screws in, that you screw back down the ground cable. If you follow it back, you can see that it goes right back to the plug-in coming from your outlet. So we want to go ahead and make sure that that is screwed down as well. It goes right here, and you can see the marking on the board telling you it's a ground. Okay, let's get these screwed back down. Okay, once it's all screwed down, we just simply plug in the harnesses. Make sure that you get them all plugged in. And you want to make sure they're all of them are plugged in. They will only plug in one way, so you don't have to worry about plugging in backwards or anything. Now at this point, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and power the TV up, make sure it's working. But I'm going to go ahead and secure the cabinet. Put the cabinet back on, and it just neatly falls in place. And now we just put all of the screws back in it, and we'll just screw it on back down. Okay, now we got the cabinet back on. We got it all plugged in, ready to go. Now what do is we'll just set it up. Go ahead and set it up. Okay, and then now let's see what we got. This is standby voltage indicator. Let's see what we got here.
Call me John. America's original action hero is back. Welcome to the party, pal.
And we can see that it's staying powered on. So it was the switching transistor 2N 4401. That's it for this episode of Teslatronixlab. We hope that this information has helped you. Stay tuned for more videos coming up. Well, we hope you enjoyed that video. What I did notice was that back then when I was filming, I feel like whenever I talked about some stuff, like everybody should know what I'm talking about. So I didn't really do much explaining as far as transistors. Like I did notice that I was talking about the emitter, base, and collector of them, but I didn't explain that EBC meant emitter, base, collector. Also didn't mention that on the silk screen on the printed circuit board, it has the shape of the component, which way it should face, because if you'll notice, transistors had a flat side, or those type of transistors did. And also that transistors each on contains a diode in it, and so that is why it's important that it's facing a certain direction, because if it's facing the wrong way, the diode is going to block the current instead of allowing it to pass. So I just felt like, I think back then my mindset was what I'm talking about, everybody should know. It's basic electronics. Although we are going to get into some very technical and interesting projects coming up, I think I probably need to shoot a few episodes covering just real basic, bare basic electronics that everybody watching the channel should already know. However, there's a lot of people watch the channel just because it's my channel, and they may not know a lot about tech or basic electronics. So I think I need to cater like to the whole entire spectrum of audiences, rather than just those who are interested in tech and wanting to learn electronics repair. So we're going to try to be more versatile like that with this channel than what we were in the past. But we do have a lot of old videos that we're going to publish under the Reloaded series, and we do hope that you enjoy them. I do have a lot of videos that needs to be uploaded for this channel. They just need to be edited and everything. Coming up, I do have an episode of a cell phone repair. It's the iPhone 12, and it is going to be a guest star. So in other words, it's not me doing a repair, I'm just filming the repair. So we may do a few episodes like that in the future as well. So we hope you're enjoying the channel, and we hope that you do enjoy the OG past videos on the Reloaded series. So we will see you on the next episode of Teslatronixlab.